Hi, I am that dead. Uh, I forgot my intro. I'm a student at two schools, uh, studying abroad. It's been a week. My bad. Hear me out. I did not, in fact, go the Wednesday that I thought I was going. I went Thursday morning of last week. It is currently 22:24, so it is 10:30 on Thursday on November 3rd. I'm making up for what I believe is a week because I'm not Wednesday. I had a class and then nothing, and then I left Thursday morning. So it's 8 days, which is the longest I've done so far. I've gone without recording so far. And without further ado, hi, my name is Hudson Models. I am a sophomore at Oka University. I'm currently studying abroad in Kansai University in Japan, and this is my attempt to keep everything that I've done, everything I will do, and in order, and hopefully inspire someone else to study abroad because I think it's a lot of fun. I think everyone should do it. And if you uh, not get distracted by your phone and have a lot of international experience, like I am right now, then I believe it'll be make you a better person. That's not true. That's talking on Mars because I think it's fun. And I think everyone should do it just for the sake of doing it. Okay, I remember my intro. I spent 5 days in Tokyo and then had to recover the next 3 days because there was one, not enough time to record, and then just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So, what's in the next 2 days? Because I got back Monday night, Tuesday, Thursday. No, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today's Thursday. So, spent a little bit of time on this week after Tokyo because there's so much that, for one, I post on Instagram for the majority of my pictures and the majority of the things that I saw. The other stuff, the other 100 plus images in my camera roll are all for duplicates of pictures and aesthetic ones that I thought looked cool. So, yes. Okay. So, first day, I'm not going to be able to remember everything that I did, but travel, first of all, was super, super cool. The bullet train is okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. First, woke up, cool, whatever. We walked to the train station on foot, and I went with the Israeli friend of mine. So he and I walked into the train station. We got on one bus, one train the first time, and went that took that all the way to Kyoto. In Kyoto, we were able to get on the Shinkansen, which is the new line train or the bullet train, the fastest, second fastest train in the world. Magnet train, bullet train, same kind of deal. The Chinese did it a little bit better, but Shinkansen is pretty awesome. Going at 200 plus miles an hour makes the trip from Kyoto to Tokyo about an hour and a half, a little less than 2 hours. It's pretty fast. Um, took took that bus all the way to Tokyo, and then we got another train, the Green Line, all the way to Komogome, Komagome, Komagome, and that is where we stayed for free at residence house, which was super awesome. People who live there are super nice, um, very kind to let us stay there. The other person that we shared a floor with also super sweet. Um, very thankful, very super awesome. Everyone in the whole experience was very kind. First night we just kind of walked around Kamagome and just saw what there was to see. We didn't go on any trains that night because it was so late and we didn't want to get stuck somewhere that we didn't have a place to go to return to. So first night, explorative, informative, and we also got to take have dinner with our hosts. which was super nice. There was so much for dinner. There was so much. The first time they were there, we had not only pizza that was ordered, but also wings, a salad, spaghetti, and then some sort of other vegetable that was delicious. But there was so much going on. It was wings, spaghetti, and pizza. There was like three meals that were cooked at once, and it was delicious. Um, but they're again super nice. Second day, we explored for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We explored for 3 days, and we did a lot. And the fourth day, we did something else, and then I left. Um, no, fifth day. Fifth day, we explored something else. Got there, 3 days. Then I explored and left. Okay. Um, First day, we went to a temple. We saw some stuff in downtown. We explored Shibuya, um, which was uh, amazing and gigantic, and kind of the huge stereotypical like scramble square isn't exactly as tragic as I thought it was going to be, but it's still huge. It's still gigantic. Anime Central. It's lots of stuff. Uh, I'm not gonna be able to remember everything that we did and the names. So Temple, Shibuya. Uh, Second date was um, a, ha- a Hakibara, which sounds like capybara, so it's fun. Hakibara, and then another Shonen, another city that starts with an S. Pardon me. Um, but that day, we were able to see another huge piece of another downtown section. There was a bunch of buildings with anime stuff in it, like figures and old video games, manga. Super cool. There was like a downtown anime alley, which is really cool. Same night, we were also able to see Tokyo Tower, which is super cool. Um, um, and we did that closer to night. We walked around another downtown section, and we walked into Google. That was pretty cool. We got to walk into a huge building that just said Google on it, and we had a conversation of I'm like, does Google know that we're going into Google? Like, if they can track our phones for Google Maps, do you think Google can see Google and like know when Google isn't being used inside of Google? There's like a ping. I'm very tired. Oh. Yeah, bye. Google, big old tower, pretty cool. The next day, we went to the Skytree, and we tried going into the mall itself is gigantic, and I wandered around. We wandered around the mall. There was another. Oh my goodness, I forgot what we did in Shibuya. We went to the Pokemon Center and then the Nintendo store, which was super awesome. I wanted to get Legend of Zelda merch, but it was all stupid. I wanted to get a Korok. I was tempted to get a little Korok and then have places to hide it, as in Breath of the Wild, but it was fine. It was expensive for what it was. We did go to the Pokemon store, and I got. I don't know if you can see him. There's a little Cyndaquil over there, which is by far my favorite starter. It's a little fire type porcupine, and it's adorable. And he evolves into Typhlosion, who is literally the explosion murder god. He's amazing, and I love him. Also, the first Pokemon game I ever played, that was the starter, Pokemon not Platinum, Soul, Heart Gold, but irrelevant. Attacked by gods. My apologies. After Skytree, we were in the mall, and we just kind of walked around. It was a huge. So it turns out the Skytree is actually on top of a mall, and there's lots inside of it. There's lots and lots of stuff inside of it. Um, it was mainly food courts, but there's also a bunch of different shops. There's an aquarium that we could have gone to, but by the time that we were done walking around and exploring and then eating, We didn't even have time to go to that. Not to mention that the Skytree itself was a huge, unbearably long line, and we paid for, so technically we paid another 900 yen to go up to the top level, but that line was even longer than to get in, so we didn't deem it worth it. They had a very, very poor sectioning off method, and it was just not a good experience to try and go up the highest level. It would have been cool, but not worth it. So we just skipped out on the effectively $5 that we spent, and it was like, whatever. It's not a big of a deal. So that one we didn't. That one we didn't get to go up to, but oh well. Um, After that, we went to Skytree. We went back to Kamagome because we had something else to do. But then, my friend had something else to do, but then turns out that I didn't. So I just walked around Kamagome a little bit more. Um, and just I went as far as I wanted to, and then just came back. I didn't have anything to look at. There's really, I had no idea what I wanted to see. So yeah. Then the last day that I was there, I'm breezing past all of these things because there was so much, and I can guarantee that I'm not remembering everything. I have pictures up that I've posted. I'll probably post more eventually and be like, hey, this is like things that I've missed. So, um, and then on Monday, probably the most memorable experience, which is unfortunate but still really really cool. We went to whatever the city that was right next to Giza was. Um, but there we went to a place called the Tokyo Team Labs. And if you've never heard of Team Labs before, it's actually originated in China. And there's one in Shanghai that's very, very popular and gigantic. But it's a sensory kind of experience where you are just there to let go and kind of be one in the moment with a bunch of other people. And that being one in the moment involves taking off your shoes and socks, walking around barefoot in different environments. The very, very first thing that we did is we walked through this stream running uphill, which is pretty cool. But it's just like basically to wash your feet, but they don't tell you that because it's a stream running uphill, whatever. The next thing we do is you fall into this huge plush mat of just, it's like a big old beanbag room, and it was actually really really comfortable, but we had to keep moving on. So we just had to scramble through, which was hard to scramble through this huge pillow floor that you couldn't actually get a grip on, collapsing over each other. It was a lot of fun. But it was room after room of just noise, not noise, but like calming sounds and water. And I believe the next room that we went into was um, it was a room full of glass, and all above us were strung hundreds and hundreds of lights, and the lights like kind of like dance. There was mirrors on the walls, on the floor, on the ceiling, so the lights looked like they switched on forever. We were walking in a void. Very very cool. um, and I have pictures of that as well. The next room was there lights, but also with water this time, and there was lights projected onto the floor, mirrors all around the walls, but the lights that were projected down from the ceiling were flowers and fish that were like apparently swimming in the water. So it's like we got to walk around with the waves and the flowers and fish in the water. That are just lights. And it looks cool because you could have like a fish dancing on your arm from the light coming up from above, which was kind of cool. But the next room was then a flower room. And it was, well, a flower room. There was a flower room. There's a garden afterwards. But the flower room was, there was the mirrors on the floor, but then the ceiling was a huge dome, and there was light projected from other sides of the dome, and it was just a huge map of like swirling flowers and butterflies. It was just a very just kind of springtimey room of a dome, and it was cool. It was like swirling. Have you ever seen? It's gonna kick me now because I can't remember it. There's a movie called Epic, and there's a song. The outro song, the end credits of the movie, is a Snow Patrol song, And the music video for said Snow Patrol song basically was this entire room in a nutshell. And it's not chasing cars, snowmobiles. Is it snowmobiles? I think it is. I think it is. I'll find it. But it was super pretty and very very calming, and I almost fell asleep just lying on the floor. Everyone was lying on the floor. It was fun. It was whatever. Okay, it wasn't whatever. It was actually really really cool, but it was yeah very sensory calming experience. I feel like I needed a nap afterwards, but whatever. Uh, and then there were two more rooms afterwards. Both were kind of exterior. There was a outdoor art piece that was. It looked like it had a bunch of mirrored stones on mossy ground surrounded by mist. This is what the art piece looked like. The next room was a vertical garden, and all of the flowers that were being grown were being suspended, and they were growing. Um, that's just from little clumps of earth as they were being misted and like bathed in sunlight. So that was pretty cool. It also had mirrors on the floor and walls too, which would have been a nightmare to clean up. All of those, petals and dirt that was following, and the footprints. That would have been miserable to clean up. Absolutely miserable. But after that, we went to a place in Ginza that was I don't remember what the name was. Shimu Shimu place. It's a place where you are given um, different objects, different items of food, and you are then told, and then you are then let to cook yourself. And you cook meat and vegetables in collectively in one big pot of boiling water, and eventually that big pot of boiling water becomes a soup that you get to drink. We did a pretty good job, just saying. The meat that I was able to cook, I didn't burn anything, didn't overcook it. There was a nice little sesame, I don't know what it was, but we got to grind our own sesame seeds and then mix it with another sauce, and it was actually really, really good. Especially over rice. I liked it over rice. It tasted kind of like was it sunflower? It was no, was it sunflower seed? No, it was a sesame seed. I say sunflower seed. It tasted like a very specific type of chip. I had it in the desert once or twice. It tasted okay. It was very nutty flavor, very sesame like seed. It was a very very strong sesame flavor, but then it was also rich, kind of like a peanut butter cracker. I'm not explaining it very well. It's like one of those Triscuit cracker brands. I'm looking at you, mom. I'm like, you lost me. It's a sesame cracker, rich flavor. Whatever. I'm going crazy. Um, Regardless, it was very very tasty, and the soup was good afterward. And there was a brown sugar ice cream that was served with dinner as well, super tasty. And then I that was actually my cue dessert. After that was my cue to take my leave because I had a train to catch at 5. So I had to make it back. I took two different trains all the way back to no one train. I took one train all the way back to Kamogome, and then had to get my stuff, walk all the way back to the house, walk back after I had my stuff. I was wanting to say goodbye to my hosts, but they weren't there, so which is a shame. Um, I had to walk all the way back to the station, take a train all the way back to Tokyo, get on another train, get off that train, get on another train, get off that train because I was on the Keihan line, and then those trains took me like a half an hour. I got to stand the whole time. That was super cool. Um, After my bad, I took one train. I took one train to Tokyo, and then I had to find the Shinkansen. Shinkansen took me to Kyoto, which was another 2 lines later, which I got back to Osaka or Hirakata, and then I was able to walk back to my room because I had been standing in one place and sitting for the past 2 hours. So I was like, nah, I'm just gonna walk, which ended up being much more entertaining. So yeah, and then I was back, and then we're just like that. Classes started again. My cooking class on Tuesday was finally in the kitchen. We got to make a ichiban dashi, the first dashi that we've ever made. We used kombugachi flakes, which kind of looks like flakes of onion, and then kombu mixed with just water, and just cold water that we brought up to a boil. Put the kombu, and then we put the flakes in for like a good 12 seconds, and then took it out because otherwise it would be turning bitter, which I didn't know. Um, and then this kombu was trained by our teacher. Wednesday was Japanese class. Oh, I should say our monsters class. We talked about Mizuki Shigeru, who was a artist slash author who wrote the Gegege no Kitaro stories, which are actually pretty cute. It's about a little boy named Kitaro, and he goes around solving yokai problems. Yokai are like the monsters and stuff that we're learning about. And his little troupe is three characters are um, a cat girl. Her name is like Neko-chan, something like that. Girl cat, but she's a girl who could turn into a cat. You have Ratman, who is just a man who has very rat-like features and fiscally irresponsible. And then you have Eyeball Daddy, who is don't know the Japanese translation of his name, but his English translation is Eyeball Daddy. He rides around in Kitaro's empty left eye socket because he was born without a left eye, as Mijikichi Getter actually lost his left arm in World War II. And Eyeball Daddy hangs out in the eye socket, and yeah, and they go out and they solve problems, kind of like a PG, not PG, um, super yokai friends. It's like Japanese Scooby Doo kind of, but they're all actual, ghosts and yokai, whatever. It's cool. It's good. It's fun. It's childish fun, and all of the solutions are solved non-violently. But Kitaro has projectile sandals, a cloak that's sewn with the hair of his ancestors that he can control at will, and then he can shoot his own hair out like porcupine quills. hmm And he was also born in a graveyard from someone planting an eyeball or a finger. I don't remember which one. Yeah. Um, Wednesday was Japanese class, and I basically spent the entire day doing nothing because the last couple of days have been exhausting. And then today, I got to cook for real the first, not for real, but like for the entire class period. And we made three dishes of their entirety. And it was Portuguese style nambanzu, which was vinegar dressing over fish. Then it was another something with more fish and vegetables. And then mm, udon, which is like a whole mess of stuff. There's broth, there's bamboo, there's a bread tasting something, there's fried tofu, which I didn't actually hate. It kind of tastes like bread. And then a very salty broth. It's supposed to be eaten with mustard. I didn't eat the mustard. I didn't eat all of mine. I got a big portion. I really, really did. It wasn't my favorite. It tasted kind of funny. And I'm not saying that because we made it, and I'm not saying it wasn't professional. We probably actually made it pretty accurately, but I was hungry afterwards. So when I met with two of my Japanese friends for lunch, we also went to Starbucks because apparently there's a new drink, and it's delightful. It's a strawberry red velvet brownie shake, frappuccino. I didn't hate it, not at all. And then in my Ghosts and Monsters class, we talked about and we watched the Suicide War Charge in the war that Mizuki saw. And it was actually a perspective movie, not starring Mizuki Shigeru, but his character. and like it was telling about his experiences in World War II and how that translates over to his everyday life. And there was apparently a really famous actor who portrayed him. And yes, that is everything. I promise. I am suddenly very, very hungry, and I have nothing. I had dinner already. What's going on? It'll be fine. I'll eat breakfast tomorrow. But yes, it's been 25 minutes to try and recap a week. I'm sleeping. I have to get ready for bed yet. It's late, and I have class at 9 a.m. So, thank you for being patient. Thank you for waiting. I've tried to I don't even know if you. I have an average of 13 people who watch these. And who am I thinking? I'm thinking you guys. I family and invaluable friends. What's going on? I'm sleeping, and I'm wearing glasses for the first time in one of these videos. First time? I think it's first time. Might be the second time. Not a thing to be focused on. That's 26 minutes. Cool. Thank you so much for watching, for coming by. I'm tired, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. They're probably within 2 days, 2 3 business days. Arigato.